Hi guys, this is Neha. Welcome to Common Core and Gifted Learning. Today we will talk about what are the key areas to focus on in first grade. So I'll walk you through some slides, and I think that will give us a better overview of what to cover and why. So let's begin. So here is our first slide, which talks about our topic, of course, the what are the areas to focus on first grade. So going to the next slide, as you can see, reading being the main core, the reading kind of splits into grammar, vocab, spelling, writing, social studies, and math. So if you have not seen my kindergarten video, please go and check it out because there I spoke about why reading is more essential than math and how math is kind of wrapped in language to an extent in here, like in the school system here. So I'll be putting the link somewhere in the description box. And moving forward from there, vocab, spelling, writing, grammar, these will be like the ways, or you should be introducing reading at first grade. And for social studies, mostly I would stick to what school is doing because we still have time for covering social studies and science. Science also you can just tuck it away for now. It's not that much of an essential topic to be covered. So again, to sum it up, I will actually go through individual topics and like subtopics under grammar and vocab, spelling and writing, what to cover and not cover in the individual lessons. But for now, I would also suggest something about math under social study, not math, sorry. I would suggest maps under social studies because in maps, like at least the cardinal directions and like the basic names of the continents, these are the things I would like. I wouldn't go into directly to the map of USA or something or the states and capitals, but at least like the basic vocabs and the direction so that they can learn a map, like, moving up, moving down, uh, which continent is on the north, what are the continents on the south. These things should be introduced. If the school is not doing, I would rather start at home. And this is pretty much what you should be covering in the first grade. And then after that, there comes another question often from parents, that why starting so early. So when I was a kid, I was like a very curious kid who would keep asking, like, why we have to study so much? Why we have to cover this such a fat book? Why do we have to do every chapter? And in Indian school system, we used to have these examples in front of the textbooks that would our teachers used to just tell, like, memorize if you can't, really understand. So years later, the same genes come through my son. He keeps asking me that, why we have to study, why we have to study every day. Nobody studies, nobody does homework or worksheets at this age. So because that's how he has been seeing around, and that's perfectly okay. It's all like different parents and different kids have different goals, and it just works for different families. And for our family, it doesn't work. I keep telling him why through a story that my teacher used to tell me as a kid. So the story is about Hercules, the son of Zeus. So when Hercules was a baby, he was in love with this small, what do you call, Pegasus. Yeah, I think they're called Pegasus. So these are like teeny tiny horses with wings. So this is a baby Pegasus. So when he was small, he could actually lift up a baby Pegasus. This Pegasus were like pets for in those days, and I think, like, he had one, and that was something like a background of the story. But moving to the more relevant point is he could lift it up, and when he was small he could do that, and when he grew up a little bit more, he could still like lift him up. And now when he was an adult, he could actually lift up the adult Pegasus too. So after that, when we go to the next slide, you can see, when he was big and tall, and he could still lift him up. But now he didn't realize actually the Pegasus actually became like a full grown like adult Pegasus. So he didn't realize actually with his muscle capacity, with his strength, as his strength increased, like the Pegasus like body weight also increased. So my take on any kind of structured learning is, or any kind of curriculum or anything in life, if you are learning, if you more than the consistency, if you are starting little bit early at an earlier age, and if you slowly increase it over a period of time, your body, your mind doesn't feel it that much. It just doesn't get overwhelmed. In the school system here, I have seen like, they really started taking, like they really start taking rather, from the sixth grade, from the middle school, they start taking like studies really seriously. They're like serious grading, serious testing, everything. So after the whole like, 5 years of, loosely, doing like an unstructured study, they suddenly get into an 8 period class, and it's all about study then. And then the students are not used to it for like 4 or 5 years, and they take time, and so some survive, some not. It's like a sink and float situation. So and then some people who can just like, some students who can just float around, somehow survive with us, like say 2 pointer, 2.5, 3 pointer at max. And if somebody somehow pull up their socks, they get a 4 pointer. And if you are not floating, then of course you are dropping out by the time you reach high school. And the reason, of course, is like they lose self motivation. They get really overwhelmed. It's like, in Indian school system, if you think like, if you're covering like a ICSE syllabus, instead of 2 years, like I remember we used to start at ninth grade, and by 10th grade, for 2 years we used to complete into half and half. So it's like, instead of getting 2 years, if you started at sixth grade, and then if you get 4 years to study the same syllabus, it of course gives you a heads up, and you're used to it. So it's like muscle building. Like if you're already, your brain is in an exercise mode from an earlier age, taking in more complex subjects like chemistry, physics, calculus, biology, or taking in more amount of studies, is actually more easier. It's more fluid at that age, like at a later time. So my recommendation will be of course, consistency and persistency are the two things. And because they will give up, and most of the kids I have seen, they give up after. So you have to be little bit consistent with them. And if you can feed in somehow the basic tools, at least like the basic tools, like reading, writing, math at till 5th grade. So till 5th grade is basically you're making foundation with the tools you will be using in the middle school and high school. The tools being math, reading and writing. Under reading and writing, it's basically, what I mean is comprehension. So I have told this earlier also, so like some kids just read like a whole sentence without understanding the connection or the context. So context and the connection between the words, they don't understand. Many kids just read it like they read phonics. They just sounds to them. They don't associate it with some picture in their head, or they kind of don't understand the context it is said in. And that's why they later on, when they introduce like a metaphor, or they introduce some kind of a simile, they miss that out. And most of the text here are like, even the science, and I've said this before also, like even the science and math and everything is very text based. So these three tools are the foundational tools. So till 5th grade you should be building this. And after that, like you will be using this from 6th grade, from the middle school, you will be using these tools to actually move forward with your like more complex subjects as they come in. So if your child's brain is already in an exercise mode, and it's with as the brain capacity is increasing with age, if the subjects, or the amount of like study load is also increasing, they can take it. But if your child is like, brain elasticity is not there yet, and if you suddenly, you introduce after like 4 or 5 years, I think like that's the main problem most of the kids face here. Like, they don't know like why suddenly they feel it a lot. So my um, suggestion is like, there are many kids who actually, don't get a proper guidance or proper, they don't know what to follow, and then they just, they lose it somewhere. So any kids out there, or any parent who wants to know what to follow at what grade, or need any kind of lesson plans, please follow my channel. I will guide you through, and you can always, write in the comment section if you have any questions. And I'll see you soon in the next video. Till then, thank you and goodbye.